this computer. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wheatgrass and Microgreens 101 class. Let's get started. I'm just gonna go ahead and, okay. Can you guys all hear me, see me, all that jazz? Amazing. Okay, so we're gonna get right into it. We are in for a beautiful treat tonight, which is our Wheatgrass and Microgreens Masterclass. So this is a well-anticipated class. I invited you all. I've been promoting this for a few weeks. So I'm very excited to see who's in here. And according to the chat, we have a very wide variety of people. So we have even some people from Canada, which is cool. We have Kurt and Nancy from Florida. We have people who have been growing wheatgrass and microgreens for 6 months already. We have people, Justine in Naples, Florida, who did our 1-month reset cleanse that now is loving wheatgrass, drinks it every day, and is growing it. Neil from California is a beginner. So we have everyone between never had it before to I've been doing it for 6 months to even 25 years. And that is great because with that, we get to see what wheatgrass really can do for those who have decided to stick with it for so long and what it's done for them. So I'm very excited to hear from all of you who are wheatgrass drinkers and microgreen users. So if you can wait till the end, I'm going to have a place at the end where we can ask questions and also share any insights that you'd like to share, or any testimonials for that matter, if you'd like to share your experience. So I want to get right into it and share with you all of our experience and knowledge on microgreens. So first, the class outline, who we are, what's Perfect Foods, how are we the authority on this topic, what are microgreens and wheatgrass, the chronic disease epidemic, the benefits and how to use wheatgrass and microgreens, testimonials, and then of course, how to get started, and some questions and answers. So while I'm going through, please feel free to comment any questions that you have below. You can raise your hand. If I see you, then I'll have you come in, but most likely I'll get all questions at the end. Now, also, please stay to the end. Those of you who are watching the replay, watch to the end. We are having some bonuses, masterclass bonuses that I'm offering to all of you who are actually watching. So thank you for taking this time from your evening to actually be here with me live, because only people who are here with me live and that book a call with me within just tonight are going to get a number of really incredible bonuses that I'm giving you all special tonight. So let's get into it. Okay, so who are we? My name is Rebecca, and I am the new co-owner of Perfect Foods, and this is...
I'm Aaron.
This is my brother, Aaron, and the two of us now are the second generation of Perfect Foods. Perfect Foods is the world's premier wheatgrass and microgreen growers. We say the America's premier wheatgrass and microgreen growers, but most likely it actually is the whole world, and that's because our parents started it in 1982, over 40 years ago. And we got the privilege of growing up as the wheatgrass family. And not only did we get to see hundreds of thousands of people heal themselves with food as medicine, but specifically got to see the testimonials and the miracle healing qualities of wheatgrass and microgreens themselves, which is why I have dedicated my life to educating all of you on this topic, because I got to see it with my own eyes, and I intrinsically, truly, to the depth of my heart, believe in the benefits of wheatgrass, because I got to see it at Raw Food Institutes. So if you could put a comment in the chat, a 1, if you've actually been to or heard of a raw food cleanse retreat. There are ones all over the country, and they specialize in just raw foods and healing people. So at these raw food retreats, the 2 main components are wheatgrass and microgreens. And at a very young age, our parents would bring us to these retreat centers. Instead of going to Disneyland, they would bring us to Hippocrates or Optimum Health Institute, where they would have you drink wheatgrass every day and have microgreen and sprout salads as majority of your meal. And we got to see people who were extremely sick heal themselves within a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks time, in miraculous time, ways that doctors said that there was no way was possible. So that's why I intrinsically believe in this, and that's why I'm here with you today teaching you as well. So we not only grow wheatgrass and microgreens, but we also sell other raw food treats like sauerkraut and raw food crackers and everything that you might need for the raw food experience. And we supply it to the New York tri-state area. We also ship countrywide. So no matter where you are, we can help you.
And you can see before you move on, you can see this little picture of me and Rebecca when I'm like 16 probably, and she's, I don't know, like 10. And we're doing a demonstration here in New York City. So we've been at this our whole lives. So no one's more an expert on the topic.
Yep, we were standing there so long ago, and now here we are standing here. So kind of cute. So this now is a little cool artifact, a article that was written in the 80s on my parents, who were total pioneers, and they were the first urban farmers actually, and they were growing wheatgrass in 1982 in the basement of a kosher butcher shop. So as far as the origin of wheatgrass in the most modern era, my father Harley actually was the premier educator in the New York area. And he brought it here from the West Coast. There was a lot of people who were juicing it there. He had a hippie friend that was dispensing it at a juice bar, and that said that people were lining up, hundreds of people were lining up every morning for it. And so he was like, well, why doesn't nobody have it in New York? And so they decided to go in on it for business purposes, and then later found from their very enthusiastic customers what the healing qualities of it are. And that's how they started Perfect Foods. And now we sell to over 300 juice bars and health food stores, and we deliver it countrywide. So this is a little sneak peek in our facility, which again, my father Harley designed, and we now, Aaron.
Slides aren't moving.
Oh, Aaron and I.
Rebecca, the slides aren't moving.
The slides aren't moving? Oh no.
There we go.
You couldn't see the other slides at all?
Yeah, no, we didn't see any. Now they're moving.
Oh, so
Go back to the first one of yours with children.
Okay. So yeah, this was the outline. This is the who we are. These are the cute little pictures that I mentioned.
Full screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure why that didn't work, but this is the picture that I was showing you. So you guys didn't get to see this. This is the Tray Grows in Brooklyn. It was an article that was written specifically on my parents and how it was kind of a novelty that they were growing wheatgrass in Brooklyn. This is now what it looks like upstate. And this is just a sneak peek. We actually have like 3 other rooms that are full of grass, and we grow over 3,000 trays every single week.
Rebecca, try the icon next to the question mark in the lower right-hand corner.
Yeah, we had it full screen before, and it. You guys, can you see the form right now?
Yes.
Can do you see like add notes to your design now? Oh. Okay, so now you can see the
form, and we're changing slides now. You guys see this new page?
Yes.
Is epidemic? Okay.
No,
right.
Just the farm.
Just
I don't know. The full screen doesn't seem to work.
There it goes. There it
We're
goes.
just going to work like this. All right. So this is, just a slide talking about the reason, one of the reasons, the main reason that we do what we do. And that's because, the state of health in America is pretty poor. Looking at some of the top leading causes of death, they're not old age, they're not someone getting in a car accident, they're heart disease, cancer, diabetes, obesity leading to lots of these things. All of these things are actually largely preventable by lifestyle changes, meaning food, diet, exercise, and we want to try to tackle some of this giant problem that seems like it's way out there, pie in the sky problem, but it's possible. Okay, next. All right, and we're just going to talk about the very basics again about wheatgrass and microgreens, what they are. So we're all familiar with just dormant seeds, which actually is a living organism. It's not a rock. It's a living organism, a seed. It just needs a couple of things to get going. It needs water and some warmer temperatures. And when you soak your seeds in water, after a couple of days, you'll get to the sprout stage, usually about 2 or 4 days. And that's just with water, nothing else needed. And so the sprout stage is like just the little seed with the first root tail coming out there. And that's usually done once the root tail is roughly a couple of times the size of the seed. And you eat the whole thing, the seed and the root tail, and you eat it just like that. So you might be familiar with like alfalfa sprouts or mung bean sprouts. Those are the Chinese ones, the long white ones that are that you get usually at Chinese food. And there's a number of other sprouts you can get. But mostly what we do is at what's called the microgreen stage. You actually grow the plant in soil. It grows up till it has, a stem and a couple of leaves. And then you harvest, you cut the stem and you eat the stem and the leaves. And that's the microgreen stage. That's usually less than 2 weeks old. And so that's microgreens. And wheatgrass is just kind of like the microgreen stage, but of the wheat variety. So just basic wheat, same wheat seeds that you would grind into flour to make bread. You sprout them, and in just a couple of days, it'll be a grass, just like we have in front of us here, and that's wheatgrass. So, so the microgreen stage versus the sprout stage, that's some of the differences there.
Cool. And so the basic things that you all need to know and why you're here and why these foods are so special is because at this stage, they have an intense amount of nutrition condensed because they need all of the nutrients that would need to grow into the adult plant. And it's all stacked in this little tiny leaf. So it can have anywhere between 3 to even 100 times the nutrients. And it also has tons of enzymes, which I talk about all the time for those of you who have been to my classes before, but I'll say it one more time for you now. Why are enzymes so important? Enzymes are important because they break everything down and they are the catalysts to growth. So enzymes are really what makes the world go round. And turns out these living foods, these baby living foods, have the most enzymes than any other food. So enzymes are essential for healing, repairing, and breaking things down, which is what we need the most. Quote unquote from Survival of the 21st Century, that middle-aged feeling when things start feeling not as good and you just can't heal as quickly, that is a depletion of enzymes. That's why we need to be having enzymatically rich foods as much as possible. And that's why we have wheatgrass and microgreens a ton. So without further ado, I am now going to be introducing the drum roll, please, the Wheatgrass King. So Harley, the Wheatgrass King, my father, is actually here, which is fun. He's not always here. And he's going to be giving you his Wheatgrass 101 wrap. So I am going to actually stop sharing the screen so that he can be front and center. Okay, here we go. What is wheatgrass?
Yes, hello. Wow, what a lovely group. Before I even say anything, I just want to show, I'm bragging. I'm bragging about my kids. This is arguably the nicest tray of wheatgrass I've ever seen in my 40 years. It's green right to the bottom. It's lush. All the blades are about the same length. This is, the root systems are all happy and fun. And I'll tell you something about wheatgrass. You know how they say how 1 ounce of wheatgrass juice has more nutritional value than 2.5 pounds of vegetables? Yeah, well, that's what they say. And thinking about it, imagine that every blade of grass is like the same as like a stalk of celery. So this much is the same as a big salad. And that's how it is. If you were to juice 2.5 pounds of deep green leafy vegetables, and you were to make 1 ounce of wheatgrass juice, and you would to pour the 1 ounce into a gallon of water, it would be greener than the vegetables. Okay, so anyway, here we go. You ready? So this is young wheat. Like all grain is in the form of grass. Here is the wheat seeds that are normally ground into flour to make bread. And then we sprout them, like we sprout everything, grow it in a rich composted soil. And it grows for about 10 days. And after 10 days, it is a grass, which is a deep green leafy vegetable. It doesn't resemble the carbohydrate of a wheat seed. As a deep green leafy vegetable, fresh wheatgrass juice is by far the most nutritious among them and has every known nutrient. That's every vitamin, every mineral, every trace element, all the amino acids. Anything that we know humans need, wheatgrass has. In fact, they found some nutrients that we need because first they saw it here and they said, I wonder if it does anything. Yeah, well, we need it. All those nutrients are in their simplest form. They require no digestion. And you know, if you when you eat carbohydrate, you have to break it down into simple sugar, and when you eat protein, you have to break it down to amino acids, and that's a lot of work for the body. It's all involuntary, but it's a lot of work. But if what you could eat could be straight into what it wants, you taste it and it's sweet, that's glucose because it's already broken down. Not only does it have every nutrient, not only does it have the simplest form, but it's also in exactly the right proportion of what nutrients have to be. So like if you were to, let's say, take a container of milk, you'd see vitamin D. And why are they adding vitamin D to milk? Oh, they found that you can't absorb the calcium unless it has the vitamin D. And they found that you can't have this instead of that, you can't have that instead of this. And if ultimately the truth is, and the ultimate truth is, that when you have it all in one place, in the simplest form, in exactly the right proportion, it is all absorbed. And to put it into a nutshell, fresh wheatgrass juice is to an adult as mother's milk is to an infant. Nothing could be better, nothing could even be as good. Buy a bottle of formula and you'll see right on it, it says not as good as mother's milk. They can't duplicate, and they'll never be able to duplicate the miracle healing qualities of fresh wheatgrass juice. And I got to tell you, I've seen it all. I was the delivery guy for the first 10 years of Perfect Food. So I saw, I don't know, dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of private people that I would bring the wheatgrass into their house, and they would tell me what was wrong with them, and the years would go on, and I would see people get better. And then I must have gone like 30 times to these health institutes that Rebecca was referring to. What, 100 people at a time, at least 3,000 people. Not to mention all my anecdotal friends and relatives, because in the 40 years, a lot of people that I know and love have used wheatgrass to try to get better. And so I'm telling you, I'm here to save your life. I'm telling you that this raw food diet really, really works. And the way the kids have developed this cleanse, you can do it yourself at home and for a fraction of what it costs to go to these places. And they really make a beautiful program, and the product is way better than anywhere. So before I turn it over, I just want to say, I highly recommend that you drink the wheatgrass juice regularly, daily, and even sign up for one of these cleanses with Rebecca. And that's the healthiest thing that you could possibly do.
So I'm going to go on to continue, if you don't mind. This is the basics of what he went over, packed with nutrients, vitamins, minerals, chlorophyll, enzymes, which I spoke about, phytonutrients, which are nutrients that you can only find in plants. And of course, you're going to find it in wheatgrass the most because it's the ultimate deep leafy green vegetable. Everything in the right proportion, and that ultimately it's the king of the superfoods. And as he said, one shot is equivalent to 2.5 pounds of green vegetables nutritionally. So I want to now go into how to drink wheatgrass for best results. I think a lot of you are here to learn this specific, and Harley, my father, has some good tips on this as to why it's how much do you drink? And let's say you're a beginner, how much do you drink? And if you're using it therapeutically, how much should you drink? And we'll get into what therapeutically means on the next slide, like what you can use it therapeutically for. But those of you who think that you have something going on, what does therapeutic mean for wheatgrass?
What does therapeutic mean? I would say that in short, it would be between 4 and 8 ounces of juice a day. So then that would, and we'll get into how you would take that, but it's a relatively large amount, and it's relatively a few different times in the day, and that would be the therapy. And that's what they do at all the institutes, all of them. And first in the morning, then before lunch, then before dinner, and you know what? You see people going before they go to sleep and have more anyway.
So
And they're fighting for their life,
so if you're
but they're
complete
fighting the
beginner-
right battle.
So if you're a complete beginner, what do you recommend for wheatgrass? And then we'll get to therapeutic.
You know, they always said, listen to your body. I mean, these are things that were being thrown at me when I started the business by the old ladies that would like started the health food. So they just say little things, and I didn't believe them. But listen to your body. So doing it the way Victoria says in his book is kind of ideal. Have a half an ounce of wheatgrass juice. Wait 20 minutes. Have another half an ounce of wheatgrass juice. If that doesn't bother you, keep having a half an ounce every 20 minutes, 25 minutes, till you start saying, oh, that's enough. I had enough. Count up how much you had. Back it off a little bit so you don't get nauseous from it. And that's your amount. Could be 1 ounce, could be 1.5 ounces, could be 2 ounces. A beginner, somewhere in between there. I remember when at the very beginning of the business, they always were telling me, don't have too much, don't matter. I only ever had like 1 ounce. I could drink 2.5 ounces, and that's what did it for me.
If you all want to actually put in the chat your experience with drinking wheatgrass and how much you drink, yeah, but keep going. You're
And
on a roll.
I drink 3 ounces in the morning, 2.5, 3 ounces. I drink a big amount of it, right, fresh, right out of the tray.
Okay, so important thing to know is that it's on an empty stomach. Why is it on an empty stomach?
Well, I said that it is in its simplest form and requires no digestion. It's absorbed immediately, and it doesn't want to be mixed in with any other food. There's no other food that deserves to be with wheatgrass. So an empty stomach, so it gets absorbed immediately.
And so if you're a beginner, like he said, listen to your body. I actually recommend, if you're a complete beginner, to start even just with a half an ounce. And then work your way up. So you'll have a half an ounce. If you're okay with that, then have another half an ounce in like a half an hour.
That's what I said.
Then if you're working your way up even more, so you might have 1 or 2 ounces in the morning and then 1 or 2 ounces in the afternoon. Now hit them with why it's important to have it multiple times a day.
I said that it was in the simplest form, and it's digested immediately. It's also used up immediately. And you know, if you look at the 90% of the animals that walk this earth eat grass as their main food. They graze. That there's a word for it. They graze and they kind of eat the grass all day. So and I compared it to like a baby food. So a baby nurses also, if anybody nursed a baby, short periods of time, and then a short time of resting, and then again. So continuously taking in the wheatgrass or the grass. So we have to mimic that, and basically what it amounts to, and the way I understand it, it has to be in your blood. It's giving off the oxygen as you drink it, and the oxygen goes into your blood and causes problems with bad things. And then the nutrients and the enzymes and all that stuff is going around in the blood and gets used up pretty quickly. So you have to replenish it. You have to replenish it several times a day is like a lot better than one big amount, let's say. In fact, if you're really trying to move mountains, you should have it 3 times a day, however quantity it is, should be spread out 3 times a day.
So some people might be a little confused because sometimes we say two times a day, 2 ounces. Sometimes we say 3, sometimes we say 4. So
it really depends what you're trying to accomplish. And if I was talking to someone, I usually ask them, what are they trying to, and if someone says, I'm very ill, I'm trying to not die. Okay, that's one thing. Somebody says, I feel great, I just want to maintain my health. I'm not really looking to do this all day. I don't blame them. That's a different, it depends what you're trying to accomplish. And 3 times a day is she said therapeutic, right? So 3 times a day, that's a serious therapeutic quantity.
Now, a few people are responding, which I love, thank you, to how much they drink. Some people are saying that they drink 2 ounces a day. Love taking it daily in the morning and in the afternoon sometimes. I usually drink 2 ounces in the morning. I do 1 ounce 2 times a day. My husband does about 8 ounces a day.
Whoa.
I need to start back onto it. So great. Thank you for that feedback. I just want to say a few tips on how to drink it multiple times a day. So in order to drink it multiple times a day, you may, and we're going to get into this later, but you may have some fresh wheatgrass in the morning that you juice and then potentially have frozen in the afternoon. If like you're busy and you just don't have time, or you physically can't juice it if you're sick, frozen is a great option. And we'll get into that in a little bit later, but just so that you don't feel overwhelmed, I want to tell you that there are tips and tools that we have to help you to do this in an easy way. That being that, you know, we actually grow it already for you and we deliver it right to you. So we really try and make this easy for you and accessible.
You know, we're talking about how often to take it, right? I'm going to tell you, and as long as you got me, I'm going to tell you how I know this. That one of the first customers that I ever had was a guy procuring the natural cure for 5 women that had breast cancer. Ultimately, I was delivering to that place, and they went on for a good couple of years. And early on, I noticed that they were getting a large amount, but once every few weeks, not every week like everybody else. And one time I asked them, why do you only get it once in a while? And they said, oh, well, we juice it and freeze it. And like, you could do that in there. They were doing it in baby jars, and one of the other ones was doing it in ice trays. So they turned me on to, and of course, these people were fighting for their lives. So they were innovative. They turned me on to frozen wheatgrass juice. And then another one was telling me they were trying to figure out if it was just as good. And I heard her say that when I don't have wheatgrass, I'm in pain. She had a mastectomy. And she said, when I drink the wheatgrass, the pain subsides, but it starts coming back around noon. So I have more of it. And then about 5 or 6, I have to have more again. So that's when, if you look at the most extreme case where she could actually feel when it was wearing off, that's how I found out that you got to, when to have it. When you're hungry, and when and you can feel it wearing off, and it's like trying to hit it on the head with a rubber mallet. One hit in the morning is not going to kill it. But if you keep whacking it all day and it can't sleep.
Yeah. So now I just wanted to say a few tips on how to drink it for flavor too. So like if you, if the wheatgrass is sweet, right? So if anybody has never had it before, it's much sweeter than you would expect. The flavor is intense, just as intense as you would expect it to be for as powerful as it is. So if for whatever reason the flavor is intense for you, one way to make it completely cut the flavor is by licking cinnamon after. That's a tip that I actually use on the daily. So I drink my wheatgrass and then I'll put some cinnamon on my hand and I'll lick it like it's a tequila shot, and it completely cuts the flavor. The other thing that you might do if you're really having trouble with it, although we always recommend to have wheatgrass on its own, is to take a bite of a lemon or an orange after, just to really cut the flavor. And then, so one other thing that you can do is you can juice the wheatgrass in your wheatgrass juicer with something else, like another green. So you can juice it with the microgreens or with parsley, and that also just makes it a little bit more mild. We got Perfect Foods has the best tasting wheatgrass of any wheatgrass. Does wheatgrass break a fast? Those of you, are you talking about intermittent fasting? I've had a lot of people who have done intermittent fasting and still drank wheatgrass during their fasting period, if that answers your question. So if you're intermittent fasting, but you want to drink wheatgrass, I wouldn't say that that would break your fast. Yeah, someone said use a little bit of ginger.
It's absolutely ideal on an empty stomach. So for breakfast or instead of breakfast, I tell people,
Yep.
or to break a fast, that would be the optimum time. Let wheatgrass be the first thing that rolls across all your insides.
Yep. Okay, so now I want to get into what is the most commonly reported ailments that wheatgrass may help with. And this is based on our 40 years of experience and what I actually get to hear myself every single day when I talk to customers, and what he's heard for 40 years and my brother has heard. So we get to hear a pretty cool sample size of case studies. So the number one thing, we'll kind of go back and forth, but I'll say for myself, this list right here that we have, low energy and fatigue, inflammation and swelling, you'll see as we go down. If you guys don't mind and you're open to it, put in the chat any of the numbers that you feel apply to you, if you don't mind, or just make a mental note if you don't feel like sharing it publicly, because you'll notice that all of these things are the most common ailments, period. Right? It's not just the most common ailments that wheatgrass helps with, it's the most common ailments, period. And the reason why wheatgrass helps with it is because it's the ultimate deep leafy green vegetable. And we know that deep leafy green vegetables help, but it's not just a deep leafy green vegetable, it's wheatgrass. It's a more condensed version of it. So you're going to find a higher level of success rate with it, and very quickly. That's the cool thing about wheatgrass and about microgreens, is that the results are so much quicker than anything else, than any other green, because it's so concentrated. And we really, really mean that. And we see this through studies, and we see this through our own experience. And even at the end of my workshop, I actually have some studies and case studies that are double blind and all that jazz. But right now, this is just really based on our experience and what our customers have told us.
A lot of times in 2 or 3 days, a lot of times, and within 2 or 3 days, people could say, I really feel it. I have much more energy. I sleep soundly. I wake up refreshed. I want to go running around the block. I hear it all the time, and fast.
I also invite you, those who are wheatgrass drinkers, to write in the chat the experience that you've had with wheatgrass and any testimonial you'd like to share, and I'll read that back if you like. So low energy and fatigue. This is like a chronic issue worldwide, right? Especially now more than ever with stress and chronic stress and working hours that are obscene, and relationships and all of these things. Chronic fatigue and low energy is something that we're all struggling with, and wheatgrass is one of the most effective ways to address this. You drink wheatgrass in the morning and you will feel a buzz within like 5 to 10 minutes. And that's not like a joke. Just drink it yourself and you'll see. Those of you who do drink wheatgrass, let me know if you've had that experience. Most people do. And if you don't, try a little bit more.
It really is the first thing that everybody says, is that I have more energy and I feel wide awake. I think clearer.
Yeah. And it's a great solution, those of you who are trying to wean off of coffee, or if you're trying to just get more energy without having to, have any other artificial caffeinated thing. Wheatgrass is a great solution. Also, it's a great thing for the second part of the day, which is in the afternoon when you start having that like kind of afternoon need to pick me up. Wheatgrass is a great thing to do. So inflammation. I want to continue.
All right.
Okay, so I'm not going to go through everything exactly, but these are important points, and I want to share how we know each one, because these are things that are going to really resonate with you. We're talking about you now, and what do you need? And that's why we're here, right? To help you. So if you recognize that this is something that we've actually seen it help with, it might help you to actually make the step towards doing it, and doing it appropriately so it works. So inflammation and swelling. Anything that has a lot of antioxidants are going to help with inflammation. Wheatgrass has a ton of phytonutrients and antioxidants. That's why it helps with that. Digestive issues, IBS, constipation. Wheatgrass juice really helps with constipation. Any type of intense green juice is going to help with loosening your bowels and with constipation. A lot of people have that. That causes huge disease when you have constipation. Colitis has actually been double-blind research, ulcerative colitis. So that's a huge one. Immune system support. Everybody needs immune system support, especially after the COVID scare. And autoimmune, what is this blanket statement of autoimmune disease? That is something that the doctors basically don't really understand because they haven't been taught nutrition. Autoimmune disease can be helped with nutrition, period. Isn't going to completely cure every single symptom that you have. I'm not going to say that, but it definitely can help. We've had people who had Lyme disease, many people who had Lyme disease, which is one of the leading autoimmune diseases, said that wheatgrass is the only thing that it helps. Also, I want to say that wheatgrass.
Epstein-Barr also.
Epstein-Barr,
They
yeah.
say it's the only thing.
Yeah. And also, interestingly enough, is wheatgrass gluten-free? This is a big question that we didn't point on. It is gluten-free. The seeds may have gluten, but if you cut above the seeds and you juice it, it's gluten-free. So much so that I have a customer that has celiac that buys wheatgrass every single week and said it's the only thing that helps to reduce his other symptoms of inflammation and chronic pain. So
I've heard that a lot of times.
blood pressure and blood sugar. My grandmother drank wheatgrass every single day. She actually got the frozen and her blood sugar went down.
Let me tell you that story. All right. So Elisa's mother had high blood pressure and it was bad. And she had a little machine and she took her own blood pressure and she wrote it in a book. And we told her to start drinking the wheatgrass. We gave her the frozen juice. And like, I don't know, a few weeks later when we went to visit, she pulled out that book and she said, you see these numbers? And they were all high, high, high. And then suddenly they were normal, normal, normal. And she says, and you see this little dot over there? And we say, yeah. She says, that's when I started drinking the wheatgrass, the same day. All right, this is my mother. So when we, you can say it's anecdotal. We know about the thousands of people, but we know in our own house.
Yeah. Fertility. I had a bunch of customers this year and last year that said that they couldn't get pregnant. And after 1 month of drinking 2 ounces twice a day, they got pregnant. You can't make that up. It happened. I think there was 3 in the past 2 years that told me that.
The first manager that we had up here said that she couldn't get pregnant. And then she drank the wheatgrass. She had a baby once a year for 3 years straight.
And then just one more that I want to share is the sugar cravings. This is a huge one that I really noticed for myself. If you're struggling to lose weight and want to just improve your health generally, but having trouble making the changes in your diet, sugar cravings is a huge issue that we're all struggling with. And wheatgrass definitely reduces those sugar cravings, especially if you have it in the afternoon when you're starting to crave things and want a snack. You drink wheatgrass, cravings are gone. Try it, believe me. Okay, I'm going to move on.
You know how we said to drink, as much as you can? Well, if you're drinking as much as you can, you're on the border of nausea. And so use that nausea. Even push it over the side. Use it to not eat anything else. You don't need anything else. You just got the most you could possibly get. 2 ounces, whatever it is that gets you there. 2 ounces of wheatgrass, that's like 5 pounds of vegetables. You don't have to eat. So don't.
Okay, fine. So where do you get it? You can get it at a local juice bar, which we supply if you're in the New York area. And if you're not in our area, we ship to you. We have juicers that we have, which I'll be sharing more about at the end. You can get it by the pound in this bag right here. Each pound here gives you 10 shots of wheatgrass, and each tray gives you 12 shots, 12 to 16 shots of wheatgrass. Then we have these frozen shots that are also great. They're about 85% as good. They're convenient and they store in the freezer for a very long time. We flash freeze those and we take care of them very, very carefully. We juice them immediately, put them in a freezer. So are they as good as fresh? No, nothing is, but they're 85% as good. And
which is great.
Which is great.
It really does. I say it really does the trick.
And
that's what I gave my mother when she needed wheatgrass. And she, all right, I wouldn't give it to my mother if I didn't know that it was just as good as fresh. In fact, the cups that we put them in are the P125s. They're 1 1/4 ounce cup. There's more even than an ounce in one of those. So it kind of equals out to a cup of frozen juice is about the same as an ounce of fresh wheatgrass juice.
Now this frozen, we only deliver to in our New York area. We don't ship. But if you do want to have frozen wheatgrass because it's easy, you can actually juice it up in bulk, get a package of like 3 to 5 pounds of wheatgrass that we ship to you, and then juice it all up and you'll have frozen in your freezer that you made yourself. You can put it in an ice pack, in an ice tray, or we can send you these cups and lids yourself. This is just how to actually do it realistically.
Do not juice a very large amount of fresh wheatgrass at once with a lot of the machines that.
Well, I'll tell you which ones to use on that. Yeah.
All right. Be careful with that.
So microgreens. Now, microgreens are similar to wheatgrass. It's just different seeds that we sell. So we have micro sunflower, we have broccoli, we have the color mix, which has cilantro and arugula and radish. We have pea, and microgreens again have anywhere between 3 to 100 times the nutrients as the adult plant. And we recommend to have about 2 to 4 ounces daily. That's actually based on studies that have shown how is helpful therapeutically. So they say to have about 2 to 4 ounces daily, which is about like 1 to 2 handfuls. And here's how you can use them. You can put them in smoothies, you can put them in salads, you can put them as garnish on anything you'd like, and just generally add them to everything. Microgreens, I'm totally obsessed with. Those of you who haven't gotten into microgreens yet and you just got into wheatgrass, for example, do not overlook the microgreens. They are so fun. They're delicious. They don't give you that kind of like, ugh. They just are yummy. They're really high in protein if you're looking to be more plant-based and you want to add protein into your diet. This is the little known secret. This is the food of the future. This is what people aren't realizing yet, although it's rapidly becoming popular. And why? Because everybody's realizing it's sustainable. It's packed nutrients. It's exactly what we need. And it's something that is fresh. It's not a powder. It's not a pill. It's not BS. It's real. And you can actually grow it yourself, which many of you do.
It's ever so real.
It's ever so
I'll
real.
tell you, of those choices on how to use it, if you want to use a lot of microgreens, which really you should, a smoothie is typically the best way. Try to throw it in a blender with some other ingredients and turn it into mush and drink it, and then you could get a few big handfuls of it in a fun, healthy way.
Yeah. I want to say I had some cool testimonials of people saying what wheatgrass helped them with. Energy levels are unreal. I'm a homeschool mom of 3. I feel the buzz. Wheatgrass boosts my energy and enhances my mood
Are these
throughout
among
the
the
day.
people that are here?
Yep, these are among the people
How
in the
nice is
actual
that?
class. Pretty much quit coffee. And people want the replay. So keep staying. We will have the replay at the end. Okay, fresh is best. This is our motto, and this is something that I needed to take a couple minutes to touch on just because we are constantly being bombarded with powders on TikTok, and we are constantly being bombarded with how they help with bloating and all of these TikTok influencers that are getting paid $7,000 a post to talk about these powders. Meanwhile, do they actually do anything? And what are they compared to fresh? Nothing. And one way I like to equate that is imagine when you're cooking and you're wanting to put garlic into your recipe, but you don't have any fresh garlic. You have to put garlic powder. You have to put how much more in order to make it taste the same? It's impossible. So it's apples and oranges. You can't compare powder to fresh. And that's just one way of me explaining it. The biggest thing is the enzymes. And just generally, you're getting the whole food in its fresh, organic way. You cannot compare powders to fresh. And right now, the internet is really trying to convince you to get the powders and that the powders will work. This is not the most effective way to accomplish your goal. If you're trying to accomplish a goal of increasing your energy and to feel good and have something that's actually going to work in a simple and easy whole way, go with fresh, period.
Wait, I could prove it to you right here, right now. Take a look at the ounce of fresh wheatgrass juice. Look at the bubbles. Look, see that foam at the top? That foam is oxygen coming out of solution after you juiced it. The oxygen is a byproduct of photosynthesis. So if you were to drink that ounce immediately after it's juiced, those oxygen bubbles will be popping out in your blood and coursing through, killing bad things and helping good things. Take a look at the other cup of the powdered stuff, and they probably mixed it vigorously with a spoon to get whatever's on the top over there, but there's certainly not going to be any oxygen bubbles coming out of that. And then the thing with the enzymes also, to make any of the powdered products, I'm telling you, I was there when every one of these products was developed. They spoke to me. I knew the people doing it. I knew how they were doing it. They would try to convince me that it was better. They wanted me to sell it. And every one of them would say, everybody else's is no good, but mine is good because I have this way. But it's as simple as this. If you keep it at a low temperature, if you try to dry it at a low temperature, then it takes a long time. And if you want to dry it in a short time to preserve the enzymes, you got to make it hot, and that kills the enzymes. So the truth is that they all don't have enzymes. They don't have the oxygen in solution. The chlorophyll is damaged. It just, I wouldn't drink it even. So it has to be fresh. There's no shortcuts. Fresh or frozen.
Okay,
And
so
that's why we're here, to tell you these things. Not only is the powders not very good, things that are juiced, way in advance also.
we got a really good comment here. They push powders for convenience. Look where convenience has gotten us. Fast foods, Tupperware, etc. Fresh is best. I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, thank you.
So I have some studies. Now, we were a little not sure if we should add these or not, but I figured why not? They're real studies, and why not share them? So wheatgrass and cancer, a study done in India in 2017 found that 41% of oral cancer cells were inhibited with wheatgrass juice within 24 hours. In one test tube study, wheatgrass was shown to induce cell death and reduce the number of leukemia cells by up to 65% within 3 days of treatment. And a study done in
within the 3 days of treatment. All right. Do I know what I'm talking about?
And a study done in Israel on 60 breast cancer patients found wheatgrass significantly improved the chemotherapy-related toxicity, which is important because that's not necessarily about the cancer, but it's about repairing your body's cell after the chemotherapy. And I want to say, to the point of the test tubes, I actually did a study in Ben Gurion University with the exact same results, that they were doing test tube. I was growing wheatgrass in Israel. A doctor was putting it in vitro with cancer cells and found that it completely eradicated the cancer cells. So that was pretty interesting. And then we have some here with blood health. Okay. So I want to get into this because we're getting towards the end. So how to get started. Right. I want to leave some time for questions and answers. So I'll finish mine up quickly, and then I'll have some questions. So how to get started. If you guys are all with me from minute to minute, at this point, you're probably a little bit intrigued, if not very much ready to try this and to transform your health and have a real reset to your system. And if that's the case, and you really feel like you have low energy, you have any type of digestive issues, you have something, inflammation, gut health issues, autoimmune, or overall just want to improve your health because you want to make sure that you don't have these issues in the future, which is the best reason to do it, be preventative. I can't recommend enough the Reset Cleanse that we've prepared for you, which is a full-on transformation program where we send you all of our products fresh, and we give you a meal plan and a recipe guide, and we teach you step-by-step exactly how to do a raw vegan cleanse where you'll lose weight, you'll feel better than you have in years, and you'll really transform your health. You could do it for a week, you could do it for a month, and I assign you to a coach, and we really step-by-step hold your hand to make that change, whether you want to or not. We help you to do it, even if you're one to go in and out and you have trouble sticking to things. We really help you to get that goal. So if that's you and you feel like, yeah, I really need a transformation, this is what to do. And I'm actually putting a link in the chat right now, which is the link to book a call with me. And if you book a call with me tonight, then you're going to get a series of bonuses that I'll share in a moment. The next thing that you can do is the 10-day challenge. So you can actually go on our website, or when you book that call with me, I'll walk you through it. And this is just a challenge to commit yourself to doing this for 10 days. This is a very beginner. You don't have to completely go raw. You don't have to completely take anything out of your diet. You're just adding this into your diet every single day so that you can see it for your results. And that is having wheatgrass every day, having some microgreens every day, putting a little sauerkraut into your salads for gut health. And we just really show you step-by-step what this looks like on a very simplified scale. So this is what I would recommend to do.
And a modest starter.
And a modest starter, yeah.
And inexpensive too.
And if neither of those...
You know how much it costs to go to these institutes? Not to mention having to pick yourself up and fly across the country. Easily $3,000 a week, like minimum $3,000 a week. So here's 10 days to $150 for a good part of it.
Yeah. So this is the special masterclass bonuses for those of you who are here, only those who are listening, if you sign up for a call with me tonight, you get a free customized strategy call with me, which is over $100 value.
I've been trying to get one of those for years now.
Yeah, and I'm really good at it. Actually, it's totally not about selling you. It's totally about hearing what you have going on and how I can help you in the most efficient, cost-effective, even potentially just give you free resources. It's not about selling you. It's about just helping you in whatever way I can. I also give you 3 of our ebooks. Our ebooks are amazing. Somehow I X'd out one here, but it's our Wheatgrass Microgreens and Sprouts Foods of the Future ebook, the Wheatgrass King ebook, and Microgreen Smoothie Recipes ebook. This is huge.
I'm the Wheatgrass King.
Yes.
That's my book.
And then last but not least, $50 off of our Green Clean Juicer. That means if you don't have wheatgrass and if you don't have a juicer yet and you want to get into wheatgrass, we're actually offering this for those of you who are just getting started. So I'm going to put this, Calendly link in there. Sorry about that. So that you guys can make an appointment with me. And yes, now I'm just going to show the website really quick. And in the meantime, write down your questions so that I can address them, although it's most likely that you don't have any since we've addressed pretty much everything. But this is our website. If you want to just a la carte order something, this is on shop. Underneath shop, you can go to quick order and you can just order a pound of wheatgrass, 50 ounces of frozen, and add on to your package sunflower, pea, buckwheat, broccoli.
And do add on.
Yep. And we have crackers, sauerkraut.
If you get that 10-day cleanse and after 2 days you drank the wheatgrass or you finished the sprouts, you can call and we can ship out.
And that's true. And this is our 10-day wheatgrass and microgreen challenge. If you want to just order it right on here, it says 170, but I have a discount code to give you guys. Then also, if you want to do the cleanse, again, in order to do the cleanse, you can just click the link that I just sent to make an appointment with me, or on the website, there is this link here, need to get healthy. Here it talks about the cleanse, and you put your information in here and you get a free reset cleanse guide as well. So these are the resources that I recommend. And again, I only am honoring the free ebooks, the juicer discount, and the free consultation with me if you book a call with me tonight.
That means right after we're done.
And there's absolutely no reason not to, because I'm just going to give you free advice. So the point being, I'm doing a live webinar. I don't have the time to sit here and talk to each one of you right now, but that's what I would want to do if we were in person. That's why I'm offering this link to you. So please book an appointment with me. I'm going to be booked full talking to all of you for the next couple of weeks, which is exactly what I want. So now time for questions and answers. How do you drink it frozen? Do you thaw it out?
Okay, we have a system that we developed for thawing, and it goes like this. You have to thaw it quickly, you have to keep it ice cold the whole time, and you have to drink it immediately. So that's the parameters, and we found the best way to do that is to hold it under warm running water and shake vigorously. It depends how hot the water is, how vigorous you have to do, but the idea is that if you're doing that, it's going to melt. But by shaking it, the ice that's still inside the cup is gonna keep the melted part cold. So you might take it out of the warm water, but by putting it under warm water, shaking it vigorously, it will melt quickly and stay ice cold. And before you have the ball of ice all completely melted, stop, shut the water, open up the lid, drink the juice. The ice is probably soft enough to chew or just suck on. It's not going to freeze out your mouth. And that's having it immediately. So do not put it in the refrigerator the night before. Do not leave it out on your counter for a couple of hours. That's not how you do it. But if you do it the way I said, you'll get that full kick.
And again, those of you who are wondering about the % code for me to order the product, make an appointment with me for this and I will place the order for you. because this way I'll be able to make sure that you do it properly, that you get it on time, and that you order what you need. So please just make an appointment with
More
me.
questions?
Yeah. Can we get a breakdown of what you get with the 10-day challenge? So sure. Let's see here. 10-day challenge is great. Comes with 2 pounds of wheatgrass.
Okay, I didn't see the 2 pounds. I thought I saw one, but there was another one in the back.
Yeah, 2 pounds of wheatgrass, a pound of sunflower, 4 ounces of pea shoots, a small color mix, and 2 ounces of broccoli, enough for you to make a salad, smoothie, or a juice each day. And one raw vegan snack and 1 red cabbage sauerkraut. And so that's enough for you to really try everything. And then also with that, you get plugged into our community. So you get plugged into our WhatsApp group and into our chat so that you can really like stay involved with us. Oh, I'm not screen sharing. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
That I wasn't screen sharing. So I'll just show here. This is the 10-day wheatgrass. So you get 2 pounds of fresh wheatgrass, which is enough for you to have 2 ounces of juice every day. If you want to do more than that, then you can add that on. You get a pound of sunflower, 4 ounces of pea, a color mix, and a broccoli, a raw vegan snack, and a sauerkraut.
So I'm telling you, this is a very balanced package. This is, what you need. But if you could take more of it, if you could use it up in 3 days, 4 days, just get more. I mean, you'd be getting the power pack, this is what you get when you go to these institutes.
Yep.
And it costs thousands of dollars to go, and everyone gets better.
Okay, Anne said, I have an omega juicer. Is that Green Queen juicer easier to use? The Green Queen juicer is...
I designed the Green Queen, and I would say that it is very easy to use and a little bit easier. Yes, just the parts, come apart and go back together, easily and quickly. So I'd say I could take it apart, rinse it clean, and put it back together in 90 seconds.
It's a great, easy machine. If you already have an omega, I wouldn't say to get it.
That's true.
Yeah, if you already have an omega, I would not get it. If there's, period.
Okay.
The omega will
You're
do
right.
the trick.
I would say that too.
This is the TriBest. We don't sell the omega anymore only because they're challenging to get in touch with for parts these days.
It's new ownership.
Yeah, so we now are working with TriBest and we sell this juicer,
Good people. TriBest, been here forever.
Yeah, so this juicer juices wheatgrass, microgreens, and everything else, fruits, vegetables. So if you don't have a juicer yet and you're on the market for one, this would be the one to get. So once the grass and sprouts are cut, how long does the potency last? So once you cut it, if you put it in that bag, like you showed you that purple bag, that bag, actually our biggest customers, our longest customers use pre-cut wheatgrass and juice it. We've never once heard somebody say that they get more benefits from it from the tray versus from it already pre-cut, meaning you can have it pre-cut and it's just as good.
If you keep it cold in the refrigerator, keep it, never let it get room temperature. You'll see that it gets yellow in time. It's alive. It's still alive.
Okay. Is it okay to add the frozen wheatgrass to 4 ounces filtered water and stir it till dissolved? I would not do that, but I don't know if there's any issue for it. Putting it into water and stirring it to dissolve it.
You just end up with more of it, but there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But I still would drink it straight and immediately. The oxygen is going to come out in the water.
Aaron, would you like to say goodbye? Aaron's sneaking out. Would a Nama juicer work? This is a great question. Nama juicers are all the rage these days. And typically I would have said, no, they don't work because they can't juice you one individual shot at a time. However, if you want to get a bulk amount of wheatgrass and juice it up in bulk and then freeze it, the Nama will work. All you got to do is chop up the blades of wheatgrass in little 1-inch chops and put a bunch into the juicer and you'll get a really good yield out of it. But you can't simply take one handful of wheatgrass and get one shot out of the Nama juice. juicer. So if you want to do the wheatgrass fresh every single day, you'll still probably need to get our Green Queen.
It's a very good machine, but there's always a compromise when you have machines that do multiple things. That's why the Green Queen is really the best wheatgrass juicer, but it doesn't juice anything else.
Right. I freeze the juice in ice cube trays and I put a cube in my mouth first thing in the morning. Is that okay? Excellent.
See.
Best thing you could do.
Yes, that is really, really excellent.
You could explain how to do that and melt it. Put it in a little glass, put the glass in a bowl of water.
Okay. Aaron's saying that instead of having to put it in your mouth and letting it melt in your mouth, if you don't want to do that, if you're using ice cube trays, you can put the little ice cube into a small cup and then put that cup, a small glass, and then put that glass into a larger glass bowl with warm water. This way it'll warm up without dissolving into the water.
Sort of like the way I said to do it with my cups, except it's inside a glass in the bowl. Mix it around, swish it around, and instead of having it to melt in your mouth, it's melting in there so it doesn't freeze out in your mouth. But if you can handle it, that's perfect.
Amazing. Okay, I'm going to place the link to my Calendly again one more time. Again, the reason why I'm pushing that is because I think that I can really help you not only to, in these sessions that I have, I not only help guide you on what you have going on, but it's emotional, it's spiritual. Like I really get to the bottom of what is causing any type of ailment and help you to see your future self, your more idealized, better self. It's a full experience session. It's not just me trying to tell you to drink wheatgrass.
I'm going to tell you, if like when this is over, you know, you log out and you go back to your normal day and you forget about it, and you think about it when you're laying down in bed, and maybe tomorrow for another second you think about it, but then it just goes into the endless abyss of everything happening. The only way, you know, you really have to take immediate action. When we hang up, call. And let her like nudge you until you actually do something, the right thing.
And when I say the right thing, it doesn't mean the biggest thing. It could be, why don't you just start sprouting some mung bean sprouts, or it could be the littlest thing. And sometimes that is the best way to do it. There's two types of people who really need to start small and people who need to go all in. Otherwise they won't do it at all. And I help you to determine which one that is and how I can help you to make the next step. How long can you keep the fresh wheatgrass in the fridge before you juice it?
A week. It depends on the temperature of your refrigerator.
That's the grass itself, but if it's already pre-juiced.
Oh, pre-juiced?
If it's juiced, you can only have it within like 5, you know.
You have to drink it immediately.
Immediately. You can't have it.
But the fresh wheatgrass, if it's in the tray or cut by the pound, it depends on the temperature of your refrigerator. It could be anywhere from like a few days to a couple of weeks.
Yep.
36 degrees is like a really good temperature. It'll keep it forever. But some people keep their refrigerator like 40. At 40, it's going to spoil in a few days.
All right. Well, I just want to say there's still 42 of you here. And that is like really amazing.
Wow, that is amazing.
That you guys stayed all the way until the end. And I hope that it was worth your time and worth your evening. A full hour you all stayed with us. And I really, really appreciate your time. And I wish for you all good health and you know, the courage to make changes, even when changes aren't hard, and also the courage to seek knowledge. And I acknowledge you and am proud of you for all being here and just wanting to learn.
I hope that you take advantage of this opportunity, because Rebecca has been working very hard and she has to get some positive results from this.
Thanks, Dad.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Even if you don't do it for yourself, you're doing it for other people that she's going to continue to teach.
True. I help a lot of people.
You know, when I went to the first Whole Life Expo, that picture that you showed of me watering in the basement, that was from the Whole Life Times. Did that article. The Whole Life Times had their first expo, and that was just 3 months after we started the business. That put us on the map. And people were coming over to me at the booth. We just were starting. And they were asking me, do you need anything? A guy gave me a brand new answering machine, a really expensive one. And other people just gave me $100. Just
okay.
Because, you know, they wanted to see this is a good thing.
Yeah. Well, we are creating a beautiful community. And if I didn't mention it, which I don't think I did, every Wednesday at 7:30, we have a group coaching class that's included in our Reset Cleanse program. I assign you to a coach. We have raw vegan coaches that I assign you to. I have my free Facebook group that everyone's welcome to come to join, which is on my website. You can find that. And also, if you'd like to join our Wednesday night classes without being a regular customer, I am creating a subscription program for that. So you can just be part of it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Have a beautiful night and drink your wheatgrass.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.